हर सफर की एक पहचान होती है, इनकी मेहनत। रेडर्स यूनाइटेड के नाम से शुरू हुआ ये सफर अपने जज्बे और अपने खेल से। इन्होंने हर नजर अपनी तरफ मोड़ दी। एक ऐसा परफॉर्मेंस जिसने सिर्फ रिजल्ट्स नहीं, एक नई पहचान भी जीत ली। S8 UL जर्सी नहीं है, लेकिन हौसला वही है। और अब ये सफर इंडिया की सरहदों से आगे बढ़ चुका है। Esports वर्ल्ड कप, जहां हर मैच, हर राउंड, हर सेकंड एक नई कहानी लिखता है।
सबको ही दे दिखला, कहां से आया तू।
की नहीं सुनता हूँ, सेट की सुन के ही टुनटुन ले लिया। चलो भाई लोग,
I think it's finally the chance for teams like Fatality, who are trying new things with 2 snipers, to actually perform really well and become, take the center of the stage.
I mean, sometimes when you have that particular play, you are adhering to the strengths of each player, because in any sort of game, you're like, I'm going to play support and just kind of sit in the back here. But no, I'm excited to see this, because that is putting, probably everybody's strengths in the forefront. And yeah, it could turn out like a complete mess. But, to be one of the teams that are sort of only particularly running that sort of combination, this could be such an exciting match just to see this. And I want to see how many people copy it. Oh, I'm ready.
Oh my God, this is actually my very first EWC, as I told you before. And I am so moved by what I'm seeing today. I mean, can you see how amazing defensive Fluxos are?
I wish they were right behind us. I'm not gonna lie, because not only are they doing that stuff,
my hands up
they
too.
also had some drums. They had a bunch of energy. They're jumping up and down. They even have their mascot here. So actually, is that right? Yes, that might be right. I'm hearing that the amazing Karen Bombshell has an interview with some fans.
Can you feel this energy? This is the atmosphere of Brazilian fans. I am right now at the Fluxo crowd. Let's talk about with Amoroso, who is responsible for all these people that came all the way from Brazil just to cheer for their favorite team, Fluxo. Okay, Amoroso, I know this is your first time here in Paris, the first time you are out of Brazil. How does it feel to be the first time you are out of Brazil only for your passion for esports and especially for your team? Eu sei que é a sua primeira vez fora do Brasil e eu quero saber como é que você está se sentindo saindo pela primeira vez do Brasil, pela sua paixão pelo esporte eletrônico e para torcer para o seu time.
Cara, a sensação acho que é inexplicável. Não só eu, né, mas a maioria, 99% da torcida nunca nem viajou direito, não saiu do Brasil pela primeira vez. E tá todo mundo muito feliz, principalmente que a gente é uma torcida muito apaixonada. A gente nunca imaginou, né, porque a gente ia pra WB, né, pra FFWS Brasil de metrô, resenhando. Eu nunca imaginava que um dia a gente ia de avião assistir o nosso time em outro país, né, principalmente Paris, cidade maravilhosa. Então, nós tá muito orgulhoso do que a gente já construiu e eu garanto que a gente vai fazer história aqui, vai sair com esse título.
There's no words to explain what I'm feeling right now. It's such a special moment to bring all these people from Brazil, especially because we used to go to the regular season of Brazil by subway, by train, by walking, and these people could never imagine to get in an airplane and come all the way to Paris at EWC 2026. So right now, we are really happy to be here, especially to support Fluxo. That's our team. We love them. Okay, guys, make some noise!
I swear, I have better dance moves than this, but I'm not supposed to move that much.
That's dad dance.
So just
I have one question actually. Carol, can I be adopted by you? She looks like such a fun mom, you know, with the fans, with the drums and everything, the spirit. Oh my God, amazing. Girl
it
crush.
is. I mean, that outfit she's wearing too, sparkling everywhere.
Yeah, I know, right?
Walking, be like, oh, there goes Carol.
That's my disco ball.
Yeah, a ball of energy for sure. Love you, Carol.
She's gonna. Yes, this is what I wanted.
Oh yeah.
I asked for it, and we got it. Hold on, brother. I need you to come over here with that drum because I want to be able to bang on that drum at least once. But you know what? Since we have Fluxo here, earlier we saw Buram being able to get 3 booyahs.
Yeah.
Nobody expected that. I think it's safe to say that nobody expected that. So let's do the unexpected. Let's see, maybe we can cast her, curse them, or bless them in some kind of way. Lace, I'm gonna go with you first. Which team do you think, and don't let the teams behind us and the fans behind us influence your decision, that you think they might get 3 booyahs coming up in this Group B series?
I'm gonna get. I need some crowd control after this because I'm gonna go RRQ. Hopefully they didn't hear me. Yeah,
that's the spirit, girl. Love you.
She sold you on it.
She really did. So we're double caster cursing, right? No, we're double given positivity.
Yeah, we double blessed them.
We have a shrine at the
Hopefully,
back.
fingers crossed. Okay.
Well, before you give me your answer, before I go to Neptune as well, you were telling me that there is one player from RRQ that you really wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I kind of really want to see how Rans is doing because he's a rather new player. And what's interesting is that RRQ actually plucked him from the academy. So he's got a lot to prove. He's still very young and he's playing the role of a playmaker, which as we all know, usually is given to Abay. So it's something new that he's trying. I'm just really hoping that he can do his best and the stage fright doesn't really affect him because then again, being a new player, being new to EWC, it's a whole another pressure.
We call it new player, but
Yes.
it's a new dynasty.
Yeah.
You know, we have these seasoned players that have set in their ways, and then you get these younger players that come through that change everything, and then it is the absolute world. So new dynasty, not new player.
Yes,
not at all.
new dynasty. But
RRQ,
it is
baby.
something that we needed to do though. We gotta keep them fresh.
Agreed.
We do. We definitely do. And you know what? I'm going to give you some more time because I think I have an idea who you might be picking, Conchita, in regards to the team that might end up getting 3 booyahs. So Neptune, you got some time. Let's see if you have been swayed to the RRQ or maybe the fans behind us with Fluxo are swaying you or you're just going to surprise us.
No, I mean, despite of Fluxo being behind us right now, I'm just going to numbers right here. But because based on like the qualifiers that they have, the regionals that they have, they're the ones that has the most booyahs, 14 if I'm not mistaken, and you won't be able to do that. They're not even, that's just even the first phase, the first league. So I'm really looking forward to them to continue that here on because there's a lot of paying back that needs to be happening right now. Fluxo is waiting for this opportunity, and guess what's missing when they are in EWC right now is the fans. But now we're getting that energy. We're going to get that energy as well because if you go to Brazil, you can see how crazy fans get, how loud it gets. Now, not loud, but how Fluxo hype up.
That was like, okay, which one you want to go with? Okay, Conchita, you have plenty of time.
Okay, I do. Should I talk a little slower then?
Which team are you gonna go with?
Well, obviously, I have a special place for RQ in my heart. But if we're talking about distractions, I think one of the biggest distractions that they need to face and conquer this time is EWC, because they are one of the strongest contenders that we have right now in the Southeast Asia, and I do think that they have a lot to prove at EWC 2026.
Don't blink. The show's about to begin. Don't blink.
चौंका दिया ना, जिस हिसाब से वहां पे थाई टीम ने पिटाई करना शुरू की थी आईबी, मुझे तो लगा आज सारी थाई टीमें शायद टेबल टॉप में दिखेंगी।
बिल्कुल, देखिए शुरुआत हुई तो ऐसा लगा कि शायद बेस्ट भाग पड़ सकता है। लाउड ने एक अच्छी शुरुआत।
Winning is fun.
Eliminations are fun.
Yes, not really, no. Yeah, but then again,
और अब वो साउथ एशिया का डोमिनेशन भी अपने देखने को मिल जाए तो आसान लग जाएंगे। वी नो कि देखिए विश्व स्तर की जब हम बात करते हैं, इंटरनेशनल कंपटीशन की हम बात करते हैं, तो एक चीज हम जानते हैं कि उसमें जो एक्सपीरियंस है वो साउथ एशियन टीम को काफी कम है। इवन भारत की बात करें, पहली बार स्पोर्ट्स वर्ल्ड कप में अपने कदम रखे हैं इन टीमों ने, तो प्रेशर बहुत है इनके ऊपर, लेकिन देखिए उन अपेक्षाओं पे खड़े होने की कोशिश भी कर रहे हैं। और ये खिलाड़ी जरूर प्रेशर में कभी कभी दबते हैं, थोड़ा सा परफॉर्मेंस नहीं आती है, लेकिन देखिए धीरे धीरे मैच बाय मैच वो खुलते जा रहे हैं। और उसी के साथ ना जब मुझे लगता है डे 2 आएगा ग्रुप स्टेज का, तो और अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस आएगी, बट तब तक देर हो चुकी होगी। इसीलिए ग्रुप बी जहाँ पे आईक्यू टोटल गेमिंग और एसएट स्पोर्ट्स के पास अभी मौका है, एटलीस्ट इतने
is at the top of the chart.
Well, I did talk about that. I said, I think it was even with GG, match number 1, where they hit 17 limbs. They came out incredibly strong, which solidified those future games for them. Did they win? No, but they were sitting in the middle of the pack, you know, a little bit more safe than hitting those bottom 2 on the leaderboard. So I think come out incredibly strong. And, you know, we're talking about the teams, double snipers, double rushes. Like, just see if this works. Give yourself those 2 matches, those first 2, come in strong. Doesn't work, and adapt and make changes through there. But, yeah, y'all need to, like, turn this up, because I need to see some action.
yeah, I mean, it's Paris and it's summer, so it's hot outside. Might as well turn up the competition inside as well, right? And as I keep saying,
Entertain us.
as I keep saying, I think we've been seeing some changes now. Aggressive way of playing is actually works, and it is what the team has been trying to do in the first group, and I think the only way to do it now, since Group B have some dangerous teams in it as well. So.
Yeah, I think what we would expect, especially this is second half of our day number 1, because they've seen a lot of tactics already. They've watched, they stalked a lot of teams right now. Yeah, so they can get more of those strategies on their own, especially if it's in tune with their own personality. And that's what we would expect right now, especially with those, as you mentioned, Gun Dynasty. Who doesn't want to be on the top of the board, like doesn't care about getting booyahs yet, because it's just day number 1. You don't need that for the like compared to Champion Rush. So you can go with that kind of approach and then rest towards the second half.
Okay, well, it's time to see if Group B is going to be top heavy or if we're going to be seeing something different that we haven't seen yet. Group B, Free Fire at EWC 26 starts now.
Of our teams have now had a chance to compete right here on the Gdynia City grid. And there's plenty more where that came from, Looting.
Yeah, of course, 40 ace players just waiting in the backstage now, and they're counting down the time, the moment, until they can finally get their hands on the game.
Oh, well, let me take this opportunity to remind you that this is your chance to instill the fear of combat into your opponents. Don't hold back, don't hesitate, and trust in your teammates.
Yeah, and as we saw in the first group, like, there is few surprise, but most of the time the favorites just have made strong start to the tournament. It will be maybe the same on Group B. I mean, we will find out in a few minutes now. So please, ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome our teams, starting with Miyako! Ellie.
Al-Ahli Esports!
Total Gaming Esports IQ!
Straw Hats Esports!
Lion!
S8UL Esports!
MIBR Lost!
Team Vitality!
Team RRQ!
Twisted Minds!
Team Secret!
And finally, Fluxo W7M! This is where your journey begins. You decide whether you dominate or whether you simply survive. This is Free Fire at the Esports World Cup.
And which team will come out on top in this Group B? Hey, you know what? It's time to find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Esports World Cup Free Fire 2026 here in Paris, France. We made it, Lucifer. We have made it. My name is Husky, of course, joined by Lucifer on the desk, and we will have 6 more games coming up. This time with the teams from Group B, a group with a lot of second places, a lot of podium finishes, but never at the top, a lot of second place curses, a lot of redemption arc waiting to be reignited again.
I really like that we're going to be casting this group, especially because everybody's got to prove themselves. That's the main impact of this group. Compared to our Group A, where we saw the group of death, the most difficult group, the toughest of the teams, and you could see it's already top heavy. But I think this is the group, Group B, 6 games, where anything can happen. Everybody has a chance. Yes, Fluxo is one of the favorites, and they are roaring with their fans right here. And on top of it, RRQ, they're somebody who's looking forward to get themselves on the board and not choke.
Yeah, if you want to look at a lobby with teams that have known heartbreak more than anyone else,
exactly,
this is the lobby. This is the group. Fluxo, last year in Jakarta in the Global Finals 2025, second place for both categories, both ripped away by Thai teams, AGL in Clash Squad, BRU in the Battle Royale after breaking the streak for 2 years straight. RRQ, same thing, EWC 25, 3 chances, and they dropped all of it. Recently in the Spring Clash Squad, same thing, came in second. Global Finals 24, they came in second again. So many storylines that they're waiting to complete, and I think this is a very good litmus test for us to find out who has the upper hand, who came in more prepared than everyone else.
And on top of it, like, Fluxo are trying to get to their winning ways. I think what Team Secret did, just in the recent SEA finals that we ended up seeing for Spring, they took it in a storm. They became the champions, and nobody could believe what just happened. I think they are going to be looking forward to replicate that here, because this is Vietnam coming here for EWC. They missed out last year. They want to make sure that this 26th season is something that they can be able to prove, along with, as we mentioned, right, Group A already being the most difficult group. Here there's an opportunity for the South Asian team, something that we did not see a lot in Group A. They missed out their opportunities. It was a very tough lobby out there. They couldn't get out from the bottom 6, but I think here there's a wild chance for the Bangladeshi teams, for the Indian squads, all going up the ranks.
Hey, we have Soul, we have Straw Hats. I think TG is in here. Total Gaming is here as well. I personally, if you ask me, I'm looking at Latin teams, right? I am looking at both MIBR Lost and Lion, especially Lion, because this is a team that has members, has players from Rainbow 7 back in FFW 2025, and one of my favorite sniper players out there, Games King. Young player, young prodigy from the region. He has made a promise that he's going to be the one that goes on that big stage. He gave us quite the performance last year on that global stage, but it wasn't enough to close things out. Now he gets a second chance here.
And I think I agree with you. I think Lion are a team to watch out for everybody else, the 12 lot, 11 lot. And if they don't, he might be a menace in the lobby in its entirety. The other survivors will have a very tough battle to go through. But I think it is another opportunity for young guns. When you already spoke about it, SHUL Esports, they are the guns that are looking forward to prove on a global stage. They've been very aggressive in the Indian lobbies. They've been known as the underdogs, and now they're looking forward to prove in such a stage as here. I hope that aggressiveness right out of the game number 1, like how we ended up seeing Loud, is out here from SHUL.
Yeah, and if you talk about young guns and aggressive players, right, we have people from Fluxo who have also had quite the journey. Even before they were Fluxo, they won their first trophy back in 2022, and then they did it again the year after under the banner of Fluxo, with only one minor change to the roster in the sniper role, right? But this entire squad has been together for what, like 3-4 years now, and they're constantly chasing for new highs. They've came close in recent times, and when you look back at EWC 24 and 25, they didn't really have the best finish. Last year, didn't even qualify for Champion Rush. They were bottom 6 in the Grand Finals, alongside teams like BRU and Falcons, surprisingly. And now I think they are in a very good spot to make things right. Even though you look at how they qualify here, they came in 4th in their region. But I think, you know, a team like Fluxo is a team that is always full of surprises.
Yeah, the surprises and possibilities. I think this season in its entirety for Free Fire itself, teams have had an opportunity to prove themselves, win, like how we spoke about Team Secret, right? They took up an opportunity who nobody in that SEA Grand Finals thought would be possible. Back-to-back booyahs, and something that Fluxo right now can do it for themselves. I think right now everybody is looking and gearing for them, because they've been roaring from the very start. Even before we ended Group A, that was one noise that we heard from the very start and from the very beginning. And I think when we talk about the beginnings of all things, I think I want to talk about Total Gaming as well. This is a squad from India that have been been the biggest in terms of names for Free Fire, and they want to prove on the global stage. They have certain recent changes that they're trying to test the grounds itself, and now that they're on an international stage, they would rightfully want to prove their decades of experience right here, right now.
Even for me, it's a very exciting time because it's technically not the first time we've seen teams from South Asia and India compete in a regional international stage. We actually saw it for the first time back in 2022, and it's been a long time coming, right? Like we sort of have the same journey as the Aurora Gaming from Malaysia, where it took 4 years since the last appearance on an international stage. So I think this really goes back to how much they can make use of the unpredictability of this group, right? I think with how volatile Group B is, it is very easy to blow the gates wide open and take that lead. But our experts actually also talked about RRQ's young star runs, right? Conchita mentioned it earlier on. This is someone that has been on my radar for a while. In Clash Squad, phenomenal performance. I think taking over the reins of Abai in that playmaker role has really suited him very well. But like she mentioned, this is also the true test. Can he kind of deal with the pressure, right? Or will he fold?
We will kind of see how it goes for the side of RRQ, mainly because even I was having a chat with Neptune yesterday, depending on what RRQ keep making changes about. They're very adaptable in their play style. And Maal, right? He's been the main man who everybody thinks is going to fight from afar, but all of a sudden he's right in front of your face. So things like that, strategies coming out, could be something that we see especially in this group, where we saw Group A had dedicated stuff that they were doing, whether it be the support players, whether it be the rushers or the snipers. They were those specific roles, but in Group B, a lot can change because we have teams who want dedicated stuff that they were doing, whether it be the support players, whether it be the rushers or the snipers. They were those specific roles, but in Group B, a lot can change because we have teams who want to prove themselves. Al Ali itself, them here on this stage, they want to prove themselves from MENA, and now here on EWC 2026 Paris, they want to make sure that they are one of the ones in the top 4, especially because it's cutthroat, right? If you don't be at the top 4, you have to go to the survival stage, and if you don't stay in the top 10, you're out of the tournament tomorrow.
It's insane because you look at survival stage, there's an extra 10 games you have to play, right? You play 12 in the group stage, and if you perform good enough, you skip that 10 games. You get the prep for the grand finals. If not, you go to another gruesome 10 games, and then we have an uncapped grand finals with a 90-point threshold to even have a chance of winning everything. Proven that it's reading the find some of the talents in this pool of Group B teams. It is going to be a very, very interesting day.
It is, and when you say about the smart choices, right, I want to talk about Team Vitality in the Asia Invitational that we right now had. They became the champions, right? They took it away from Team Apex Gaming. Team Apex Gaming had almost an opportunity. KD goes right up on the roof. If that worked out, maybe in the Asia Invitational, we ended up seeing Team Apex Gaming and India getting a crown just before they headed towards the Esports World Cup. But Team Vitality taking that might be a push for them. Here on the international stage, where they have an opportunity to take another title for themselves, because that might be the high that they'll be riding on.
Yeah, I mean, they almost got that trophy last year, right? It went all the way to a Game 10, and you cannot script this any better. The last 4v4 fight was between them and Evil's Divine. They were also the one that stopped RRQ from winning everything in Game A, and they were the ones that really gave us that Game 10 in a way. So this year, I think Team Vitality, even though they haven't really been at the top, you don't really see them on the podium finish, they have done more than enough to get themselves onto Paris. And I think this is what actually matters in the grand scheme of things.
And mattering for Bangladesh is going to be Straw Hats. I think when we ended up seeing Titan Esports Club, they couldn't step up. We hoped that Blade would maybe have a big day. We did see him try to fight it out, break down the glue walls, but it was just not enough. But on the other end, Straw Hats, in the recent performance, even as I was mentioning about the Asia Invitational where Team Vitality won, Straw Hats put up a really good performance there. So I think this could be an opportunity for them as well, because we've been talking continuously that Group B is a group of opportunity. If you're able to put yourselves ahead of everybody else, you can get to the top of the charts. You can make it at the top 4 here on day 1 of the group stages itself.
Yeah. And I think one of the factors that is going to affect which team have better chances is the map rotation, right? We saw in Group A, it's going to be same for Group B. And I think you and I had this discussion behind backstage where this feels like it favors the Indonesians. It favors RRQ, Vitality, and Fluxo to a certain degree, right? We no longer have Alpine in the map rotation. So we're looking at Bermuda. We start off good. Then we go Solara, then Curveball, then we go to Purgatory, and then Nextera, Kalahari, Nextera. I think the last 3 maps is going to be incredibly brutal for teams that are not called RQ, that are not called Team Vitality.
And I like that you brought out that this is going to be a really good map rotation, matches that we are going to flow through for the Indonesian teams, especially because when you kind of trace back in time, the teams from Thailand were dominating Free Fire in general. But now Indonesia, who have such a vivid history of Free Fire, are getting back to those titles. RRQ, we were talking about them. They're getting closer. I think that finish that they need, the refining might have just happened right before the Esports World Cup. Same goes for Team Vitality. They've been on the hunt for this title, but they just missed by nick. But this time, maybe hook or crook, they make it happen.
Yeah. Only thing that I am slightly sad about that we're not going to see for the next, today and tomorrow is Team Vitality against Falcons, right? In different groups, love to see the Falcon Slayers show up somehow, but good chance that if they both make it, whether it's to survival stage or the grand finals, I think it's almost a guarantee if you just look at public opinion.
Yeah.
But I'm a sucker for underdog stories, right?
Yes.
At some point, I'm willing to sacrifice some of these top dogs to get the unproven regions on that big map, right? If you want to trade okay, maybe a bit too much.
Yeah.
If you want me to trade Aurora for Straw Hats, I would make that trade.
Agreed. I think that works out. But when you kind of talk about these underdog stories, right? You need to talk about the new regions who have come into the Esports World Cup. That's going to be USA. We've already talked about India.
Yes.
USA, Mia Corp coming into this Esports World Cup 2026. We saw how they played out, and I think out of the lot from USA, they are really good. So going up on this international stage, we've not seen the newer teams prove as well immediately when they start off. But if they can, that tells us the competition has completely changed.
Yeah, actually, it's quite the breath of fresh air as well. Right? I wouldn't have dreamed of having the stage in Free Fire as well, but here we are. And also a fun thing to point out, a fun little detail that we actually both noticed at the start of the day is that the what do you call it, the shield where you put the key in.
Exactly.
Right? So there's the inscription in the middle, right? And it's written everything, nothing is gained, everything is earned, and it's inscribed in the native language of the team that won last year. So if you rewind or at some point you get a clear shot of that again in the center, you can see the writings is actually in Basa Indo because he did win last year. Neat little detail. I love it a lot.
And this makes that shield a lot more personal to get it.
Yes.
Right? You have your own inscription for the region that you're going to be representing, your own language that is going to be coming up, and you could get to the totem, which we started at the start of the day. You have seen on the stream itself, as we are going to be starting off the Group B games. That is something that these players will be thinking at the back of their mind. A long run of 12 games in total, but today they have to only worry about the first 6 games they play out, how they start off, how they change. And I think for Group B, compared to Group A, it's about adaptability, change, be on top of your heels. If you're going to be setting your foot down, it's going to be very tough.
I agree. And, ironically, there's still one more team that we haven't highlighted, and it's also a team that a lot of time gets sidelined, but not for a bad reason. That's Twisted Minds, right? This is a team that they have always been doing some of the dirty work behind the scenes. They've always been putting out good numbers, but they're never sort of under the microscope. They're never in the center of the stage because it feels like when they pop off, you get an instance or two of good moments, of good plays, but afterwards, you sort of desire more from them, and it feels like it never happens. And I hope that they change it this year, right? Because this is a team that previously, when we still had one of the best snipers from Thailand, Saming on their squad, it is one of the deadliest teams. It is actually the first team to ever qualify for the Esports World Cup 24 in Riyadh. They were the first team to make it through under the banner of Reverse Grade, and then they became Twisted Minds. But ever since that, it hasn't really been the same, and we are still looking for the spark that made Twisted Minds 2 years later.
Something that is same that we have seen from the very start, even before our start of the team entries, is the energy coming in from the Fluxo fans. They're looking unstoppable. I'm just loving this vibe that they've created for our arena, for the stage that we are at for Esports World Cup 2026 Paris. It looks unstoppable. The energy is just going through veins for everybody. And it feels like for us also on the desk, right? Just jump up from your seats, start dancing, vibe to those beats, and go the Fluxo way. They're enticing everybody sitting here to just root for Fluxo.
It's like, how could you not want to root for Fluxo, right?
Yeah.
In fact, even when they lifted out the banner, there's actually like a backstory lore, right? We asked Carol about it, and it was the whole encounter between Fluxo and MIBR Los back in their regular split. And well, guess what? They are both in the same lobby again, and we actually would get a potential remake of that scenario on Kalahari if it does happen, because record has it, MIBR Los has had Fluxo's numbers back on Kalahari until Fluxo decided that they've had enough, and that's where the whole quote comes out. It translates roughly to, dang it, they had us. I can't go any further than that, but you get the idea, right? And it became a quote for the Fluxo fans that they are now flying on that banner, which is nice, right? Like sometimes people think that, oh, this is planned out. I'm telling you, no one rigged anything, right? It falls into place. Who could have expected Team Secret to win Spring? If you ask me, I would say no way.
No way!
I tuned in, I saw them lift the trophy, and I'm like, okay, they won. How did they win? 4 booyahs? Hello?
Yes! I was so surprised to see that happening one after another, and I think that's a similar storyline I kind of expect from RRQ when I was talking about the Asia Invitational, right? They were so close. They were closer than Vitality. Even though they had activated the Champion Rush, it was supposed to be RRQ to close it, because they made a similar comeback like that, back-to-back booyahs, and they activated the Champion Rush, but they missed out on closing it, and Team Vitality just did it.
Yep, but we actually seen it many times. Even from a team that's actually not here, Team Onyx Esports, went back in Spring 2025. We know that, right? They won the Champion Rush when no one expected them to do so. Unfortunately, the 25 round wasn't that great for them in Riyadh. I think that is the crazy thing about Champion Rush, which we have plenty of time to mentally prepare for. But you can see some of these teams, they're holding hands, they're making sure that, you know, they were actually in a group hug, you know, before the walk-ins. A lot of these teams, especially those that are coming in for the very first time, just making sure that they dial in. Right? For the experienced ones like Fluxo, we see Bobs, he's meditating, he's ready to wreak havoc. But like again, for the unproven regions, I'm looking forward to see if they can upset the balance. I think that is the most exciting part right now.
I think the weighing scale is going to be a big imbalance in this group. You cannot figure out which team's doing better. Right from game 1 to our end at game 6, you will have no clue about it. But as the fans are riling up, it's also time to start our very first game. It is Bermuda for Group B here at the Esports World Cup 2026 in Paris.
Paris, France, let's continue to light things up, because Group B is going to be a fantastic show. And right off the bat, we got to look at how Bermuda plays out, right? In this case, very generous flight path right down the middle. We should get a decent circle. The drops come in still pretty much what we expected from the teams that we see a lot. You know, Vitality going to Observatory, RRQ going to Remnant Village. I want to see who takes Peak, right? Because usually it's a BRU spot, but BRU isn't here. We're looking at TG deciding to go for Peak. I think Fluxo should go for Cape Town or somewhere that gears towards Sentosa. Miyacorp also heading that direction as well, but actually Fluxo spreading out.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. Fluxo going all over the map. We can see one of the players, as you already mentioned, between Miyacorp, but most of the teams seems to be a little safe and sound, except for Twisted Minds and RLE Esports. A little bit of a quick battle, first elimination picked up by Exposi, and that's going to be C4, who's already down, and that's going to be Al-Hali already in a disadvantage. Remind Hawk and Simons has to pick this up. They're closer, a quick dash to get the player back up. They expend their ability to get a revive.
Yeah, and I think, you know, in the early game, it is still very much understandable, right? You really don't lose too much. Worst case scenario, you go back to square one. I think for Al-Ali, that's exactly what they're looking at, right? Buy some distance between them and Twisted Minds and make sure they don't lose too much numbers. Unfortunately for them, they can't really fully disengage from this, so now they're going to be put to the test. Can they stand up against Twisted Minds in that early game gunfight?
It's going to be difficult for them. They've already faced a challenge. They had to revive the player, and you can see Twisted Minds have no thought of backing off, and early I don't see them retreating from this fight. They're stuck here, and it could become even more difficult because the resources in the early game will not be that great, and the challenge is still happening. Twisted Minds have a glue wall right in front. Oscar's radiant dash doesn't work over there, but still Exposi tries to bring it back and exchange on an elimination.
And it's Total Gaming that is the one that caused disaster for both squads. I think getting that elimination early on onto the bus, that is going to stop stop every altercation that has happened to this point and shift the focus of Twisted Minds towards themselves. 3 eliminations early on. Al-Hadi gets bailed out of this situation. Everyone lives on, but let's see how far Total Gaming wants to push this.
Total Gaming Esports, Aiku, they wanted this opportunity for a long time. Their team in the making itself needed some fine-tuning with the new addition coming in water. And it seems like it's working out. And there it is, Shanke. He finds one, but quickly traded off by Diamond. So there is answer coming in from Twisted Mind, but they have to be very end. Mafia looks like he's back in form, picks up Diamond, the man who troubled them. That is another elimination added to the pool, and Total Gaming right at the start get a total of 6 troubling Twisted Minds.
Yeah, took off on a sprint in a marathon and off to a great start. 6 eliminations under the back, and unfortunately for the Bas, doesn't really have much resources in his bank. So even a revive would be an impossible task as of now. To make things worse, not much resources nearby that he can go for. At least no coins.
This is what I was worried
sight.
about.
You didn't say, I mean, Total Gaming, they have something in store for us. Gives me back the feeling of what we saw from Gun Dynasty earlier on, right? It could be that run as we shift our focus over to Lion. Them against Soul, Vitality as well. In their crosshairs, Sibang being forced out by the Riptide Rhythm. A couple of shots now from Lion. It's gonna be Joker that finds that, but stolen away.
SHUL Esports, that's Noor, the newest addition for the lot. And he has to prove himself on this stage, but now he gets taken down. It's going to be a trouble. He will also be confirmed. Bunny, he couldn't do much. The glue wall in front of him, Riptide Rhythm being used. Now he's going for the jump shot, but Joker surrounded him. That's not going to work out. Once more, Lion picking up another elimination on SHUL. So the start not great. Troll also down. It's all up to Jack, and he's making a quick run away from this fight entirely.
Yeah, you tempt the Lion, you better be ready. And in this case, Lion were fully prepared to receive that hit. Especially when you're dealing with people like Joker, like Games Kings that we talked about, the young prodigy of Latam, Hacks as well. Sometimes forgotten in the wayside as Jack gets found, jump blast him in the back, and that's another point gone. Tristan Meyer secures the second, and they get a full revive, so the Bas get the job done.
Thankfully, before going down, SHUL were able to find a revive. Others could have been a very first elimination in this Group B Game 1. Thankfully, a little recovery, even for Twisted Minds, because of what just went on earlier. They were not prepared against Total Gaming. Now they did find an elimination that they're happy about. But the happiest so far, as we can still see, energy, not even a single beat being dropped. That's going to be for the Fluxo fans. But Straw Hats, finally, who had an early difficulty, now picking up pace. They pick a player from Al-Hali, and that's going to be Remind.
And even then, we still have 45 players in the lobby, right? As if no one got taken out at all. Bit of a casualty, but nothing a couple of revives wouldn't solve. Even when you look at the radar, TG moving towards the center very soon. Launchpad being taken by Straw Hats. They're going to leave Graveyard. One of the players does lag behind a little bit, but you do have the reconnaissance squad ahead, and they might end up running into Simox from Al-Hali. They spot him, taking the launchpad out. So Observatory now conceded over the Straw Hats.
I think because this Observatory is around the edge, right? We saw Al-Hali want to get this position, but right now with a lightning bolt, make a call. It might be a loss, have a challenge. That's going to be RRQ that they want to hit on. General is down. Rigby holds the entrance, puts the player. That's going to be runs down along with a bear. And MIB loss will be able to recover the players. And this Bolt Maker works in their favor.
Yeah, right at the bat, taking out the captain of RRQ and sending only the young Ma'al on the run. No vending machine in sight. A revival point that is too risky to try and capture with Team Vitality and MIB Outlaws about to square off in that area around Clock Tower. Plenty of compound to work with, a lot of low grounds to hide with. But Team Vitality splitting up as well into a 1-2-1 formation. Whereas MIB Outlaws, they're going to settle in the compound that they just wrestled away from RRQ.
I really like how Vitality is strategizing. They're waiting for an opportunity. They're like the cats who are about to pounce, and MIB Outlaws have no idea about it because they just pushed an opponent out of that compound. Yes. They chased out RRQ, but look at this. Slowly trailing in that same direction is even Total Gaming. There's going to be an helter-skelter breakout happening at Clock Tower now.
Yeah, it's going to be pandemonium pretty soon. We got to see where this circle takes us, right?
Yeah.
High chance Clock Tower is going to be in the next circle. But where it kind of pivots towards going to decide where Total Gaming goes, and smack dab in the center, we are getting a very, very nice algorithm for Game 1.
Yeah.
Starting it slow and tame.
Slow and steady was not how all it started. Multiple teams having casualties, but still all the 12 teams that dropped in Bermuda are still surviving. a major chunk of it, or maybe a team fully being eliminated can be seen here now at the 7-minute mark. Mahal finally gets found, and that is going to be the first team. You mentioned there is no vending machine nearby, and Mahal couldn't get closer before getting spotted by Al-Ali.
Bit of a throwback to the recent Asian Invitational that they were in, right? Same thing. Start, it's always not how you start, it's how you finish, and in this case, for Team RRQ, they're gonna go back to the drawing board, 5 more rounds ahead, and some of their most powerful maps in the later stages of Group B, so not all hope is lost. Exposy finds the 3rd point for his team as well. Twisted Mind slowing the pace now, was able to get back on their feet, decent economy, and even having a very decked out arsenal should this game go late. I think they just cleared out Graveyard, so there is going to be a very good trajectory for them to move on forward. Even better with Lion just leaving where they were.
On the other end, Silence still at Clock Tower. I think people can hear the clock making a tick sound. That's how we are seeing MIB a loss. Total Gaming and Vitality together, and joining that lot is going to be Straw Hats. Slow and steady, everybody want to look for an opportunity. This is going to be Yago, who spots through the window on the player of Straw Hats, the newest entry team who've made it to Clock Tower. But hey, being at the center, meaning the fight is not going to yet break out. It is only when the circle shifts away from you and you have to make a move is when we see the fight. I think other than that, they'll be just trying to chip away each other's HP. Other than that, nothing else for now.
Yeah, especially in this case, for them, they're going to spread out their manpower, right? You want to control as much area as possible. You do run the risk of getting picked off. We've seen that happen multiple times. If you're up against a more experienced team, that's what they're looking at. Some of the weaker chains of the anchor, Diamond. Getting another one under his belt, and this is gonna start hurting Lion as Twisted Minds down for round 2, back at Observatory where they dropped in the early game, but more equipped to take on a fight.
Twisted Minds, I really like that they managed to recover, but they're not just completely clocked in. They need to figure out, and same goes for Lion. A quick jump coming in from Gamesh King. He will get still in another different direction, but not yet towards the circle. He's just moving further away.
Yeah, I mean, one team that has been pretty silent the entire game is Team Secret. Surprisingly, this is a team on Bermuda. You expect them to come out swinging, get a couple of eliminations before they go off the radar. But so far, this Team Secret right now feels like Fluxo from 2024, where they play an incredibly slow game, and at that point of time, playing slow is sort of how you lose out in the late game. And in this case, Team Secret, they are taking no chances. As you did mention earlier on, Lucifer, Lion not really focusing on getting into the circle earlier on, but now they'll have to make a break for it. The launch pad being used, a couple of Dinoculars ahead of Bima Sakti Strip, just to make sure that there are no gatekeepers there. And the circle pivots towards the southern side, so the journey gets extended, and they might still get intercepted by Twisted Minds.
Now I like the position of Clock Tower. More teams joining that fray. More teams wanting to take control of that arena. It's not going to be easy. Now is when it all breaks loose. Because right at the edge, when the zone closes in, we are for sure knowing that the Clock Tower will not be inside the circle anymore after it shifts.
I mean, the last we checked the radar, Team Secret were at Factory, and they were completely alone, right? Completely uncontested. Maybe Fluxo comes in from the eastern side, but even then, it's a high chance that they will not cross paths. But we did say Clock Tower has a lot of areas that you can play around. High ground, low ground, building, outside, inside. In this case, even the underground tunnel. As our Ali members basically nested there. MIB Alos continues to make sure that they control the perimeter, and Haone instantly finds a pop on the Koja.
That was an opening, but I think they should be able to bring the player back up because this is happening within the compounds. Nobody has clear sight of their enemy, so taking them down is not going to be quick and easy. But as you can see, it's just the waiting game right as of now. 11 teams surviving. If not for Mahal going down, I think we would have 12 teams. 11 minutes into the game, this is Group B, game number 1. I did not expect to see all these teams still surviving.
And we were literally just talking about this in the back rooms with everyone else, right? Like, it really depends on the teams that are playing in the lobby. Sometimes if they want to play fast, they want to play fast. Sometimes they just decide, we're not going to fight. We're getting the latter. We're getting the teams that are going to start blowing some smoke maybe 30 minutes into the game when the whole lobby is still up. In this case, barring RRQ, who have been eliminated. But aside from that, it's going to get messy. And that also means this is an incredibly volatile late game.
It is. Especially because we already spoke, right? Group A, we know teams are very familiar with the circuit itself. We saw a lot of Southeast Asian teams already taking control of it. The Brazilian squad of Loud also taking control of it. But here, everybody is unsure about the other team. They want to read them, and that is the reason they're taking so much time. But finally, Batsin, he finds an opening on Mia Corp. That's going to be Vivek going down. Next, Joshua have to figure this out. Leon also surrounding them, so there's going to be a lot more trouble. Miyakov, they're trying to hold them off. Glue walls all across and making sure rooftop becomes their home for the time being.
And Leon will have to make a decision right now. The circle is going to start hurting them. They are going to be rested in this corner. But if they don't show themselves outside of the building, Miyakov has a very good idea of where they might be. Dinoculus could also solve that problem. The bigger winner now is definitely a team from the States, as Leon will have to huddle together and figure out a solution very, very quickly in the next half a minute. Fluxo making a big rotation and now running the Team Secret. And Exposy starts things off by taking out Josper. So Miyakov, they have another team to be worried about.
They did lose a player, but they're not worried about the casualty because they have an upper hand. They are on top of the roof. But right now, having an upper hand might be Fluxo. They want to take down Team Secret because they were the ones who made a jump right in front of them. And they're trying their best, but Team Secret quickly with the chrono, the glue walls are trying to keep it going. But PLS1 is down. TQ, he also gets taken down. And now 7, he is gone down. And Fluxo, W7M, put a team out.
The Brazilian Titans, 6 eliminations on to Butcherson. And MT7 stepping up to the occasion as well. We did say, even during one of the series breakdown, the series recap, snipers players are integral. MT7, Butcherson, we see Yago step up to the occasion as well. And our Team Vitality, it's their turn to make a splash. And they are taking care of their opponents. Only Tro is left alive. He's going to try and walk away with the stealth bites. As we lose Straw Hats off screen, Lion is also out, and now the lobby is going to start shrinking.
I don't know where Troll is going to make a run. We already spoke about Clock Tower. It's already in a very difficult spot. The vending machine is there, but so are many other teams. And Troll Gaming are on top of all of it. They're already in the first floor of things, so they have a better vision of where the other teams are. And Al Ali, we already spoke about them. They are underground. Nobody knows that they are there. They made their entrance. They're holding their control. On the other end of our screen, even Miyakov gets taken down. But wait, Troll, he picks off Dix. He's bringing this down to individual battles, and now Sipang has to deliver. He's trying to put up glue walls. Troll trying to win this out on a 1v1. It's going to be very difficult. Vitality on the last man. His position gets compromised. And Al Ali, they quickly jump in, and Team Vitality eliminated.
Taking advantage of the chaos, Al Ali gets themselves another point. Twisted Minds against Fluxo. W7M right now. A full blown out fight. 12 eliminations under the belt of the Brazilians. Exposy gets pre-fire. Butcherson nails his 8 as MT7 finds the boss from long range. Twisted Minds getting dismantled. MT7 goes for a rescue mission. Bob's the captain back up on his feet, but Twisted Minds not so lucky. Diamond cannot withstand the pressure that is Butcherson and make it 15 for Fluxo.
Fluxo looking unstoppable. They're still at the edge of the circle. MIB a loss. Rigbai, he finds a player on Troll Gaming, but in the meantime, Troll getting eliminated. SHUL Esports, they are out. They only ended up getting 6 points in total. But Troll Gaming now, they start stepping out, but Aztec gets hit by Rigby. Yago put him down, Shanky. Troll Gaming held this position for far too long. Vota, and then Aztec to fall. That is going to be the end for Troll Gaming. Holding that did not work in their favor.
And now Fluxo will take on Al Ali. Can they eliminate this team from MENA to give themselves that rematch against MIBR lost in the opening game? But Al Ali, they're holding steadfast. They are the ones with the man advantage. And MT7, he needs some help. But unfortunately, MIBR lost are in the best possible position. Boss with a nade, takes out C4, equalize the battlefield. Hawk goes down. Al Ali now getting pressured.
Nades were being tossed by Fluxo, but MIB are lost. They turn it around, and Bobs is the last one standing. It's going to be very difficult. But also Bobs troubling Al Ali along with the help of MIB are lost. They put out Al Ali, and now it's the last one standing, Bobs, and it's going to be MIB are lost getting the very first booyah of Group B.
What an opener here for MIBR loss. A rematch that we didn't expect to see that soon in the final circle, with minor interventions and an uninvited guest in the form of Al Ali Esports. But at the end of the day, well fought, honestly, by the MENA region, right? Put up a good fight against Fluxo, gave them a heck of a 4v4 skirmish, even took out one of their members before MIBR Lords was even in the conversation. But there's nothing to be disappointed about. Los,
yeah.
They got the booyah. Fluxo still finished second. The fans, they're still cheering on. This is just the beginning.